Number one, we have a monomial, that's monomial meaning just one term, times a polynomial. So we're going to multiply by the distributive law, just multiplying through by minus 5x cubed. Okay, so minus 5x cubed times 2x squared, that's minus 10 x to the 3 plus 2, just add those exponents, x to the 5th. Then we have minus 5x cubed minus 3x, so negative times negative is positive, positive 15 x to the 4th. And then we have minus 5x cubed. Number two, we do the same way, just multiply through. So we start out with negative 12 x to the 2 plus 2, that's x to the 4. And then negative times negative, so we have positive 12x cubed. And another positive 28x squared. Now number three is a binomial times a binomial. That's two terms multiplied by two terms. So we do this in a specific order, and we use the mnemonic FOIL to remember the order. FOIL stands for first, and then outer, inner, and last. And each refers to a product. So basically we want to multiply each term times each term. And we start with what we call the first product. The first product refers to the first term here times the first term here, the first term in this binomial times the first term in this binomial. So this product we call the first, and I'll label it with an F. And then we do what we call the outer product. This is the outer product, the 7x times the 2. In other words, the term 7x is on the outside all the way to the left of this expression, and 2 is also all the way to the right, so that's why these are called outer terms. So we multiply the outer terms, and then we multiply the inner terms, that's here, these two. And then we multiply the last terms. Last in this binomial times last in this binomial, that would be the 4 times the 2. Okay, so let's do these products. So starting with the first, we have 7x times 3x, that's 21x squared. Then the outer, 7x times 2, that's plus 14x. And then the inner, 4 times 3x, that's plus 12x. And then last, 4 times 2, that's 8. Now very often, the outer plus inner, that's what we have right here, are like terms. And if we multiply in the order of FOIL, they end up next to each other, and we'll combine them. So we have 26x, that's 14 plus 12 times x. And also when we multiply in the order of FOIL, then the resulting product that you see right here is in standard form, that is highest degree term down to lowest degree term. This is the x squared term, that's degree 2, the x term is degree 1, and this constant term, this number, is degree 0. So that's the preferred order. So that's one of the advantages of multiplying in this order of FOIL. And another advantage we'll see later when we factor, that is, we're going to be doing a process called reverse FOIL. Here's another binomial times binomial, another FOIL product. I don't like to draw all the lines across the top and the bottom. I like to draw just these two at the bottom for outer and inner, and first and last we'll just imagine. So first would be 6x times 3x, that's 18x squared. Now we're going to do outer inner. So outer is right here, that's 2 times 6x, and I'm going to put the product right below 12x. And here we have minus 5 times 3x, that's minus 15x, and I'm going to put it right here, because these usually end up being like terms. So now we're going to add these, and we get minus 3x, and I'll put the sum in the result. And now for last, minus 5 times 2, that's negative 10. And here's the product. In number 5, we have another binomial times binomial, but notice this is of a specific form. Here we have 7x and a 3 with a plus in the middle. Here we have 7x and a 3 with a subtraction symbol in the middle. So this is of the form two things added, a plus b, and the same two things subtracted. All right, let's see what happens when we multiply these. All right, first times first, that would be 49x squared. And I'll put in the outer and the inner lines. So first outer, negative 21x. And the inner is positive 21x. Notice these are opposites and they cancel. So we're not going to include them in the result. So now we're doing last times last, that's minus 9. Now this always happens when we have a product of this form. By the way, the pair a plus b and a minus b, those are called conjugates. Two things added, two things subtracted are called conjugates of one another. So when we multiply conjugates, the middle term drops out. If we let's multiply a plus b times a minus b, and here we have a squared. And let's just do this part in our head. The outer is minus ab, the inner is plus ab, those cancel. And last times last, that would be minus b squared. We'll be looking at this again when we factor. Okay, so a plus b times a minus b gives us a squared minus b squared. This is called a difference of two squares. This is something. A is squared and b is squared. And this is a difference of two squares. And that's what we ended up with here. Here we have 7x squared. This came from 7x times 7x. And the 9 came from 3 times 3, 3 squared. So we have something squared minus something squared. In number 6, we have a binomial times a trinomial, 3 terms, 2 terms times 3 terms. So FOIL is not appropriate here. So we're really just going to go back to the distributive law, but we'll do it twice. All right, so what we're going to do is first we'll do the distributive law using the 3x. And we're going to multiply through. Okay, so let's do that. So we have 3x times 4x cubed, that's 12x cubed. 3x times minus 4x, that's minus 12x squared. And 3x times 1, that's plus 3x. And now we're going to do the distributive law a second time, and we're going to multiply through by 2. Here, I'll put these arrows on the bottom. We'll do that 3 times. So first we have 2 times 4x squared, that's 8x squared, and we'll line it up right underneath here. line up like terms. 2 times minus 4x, that's minus 8x. Again, line it up. And 2 times 1 is plus 2. Put that on the side. So whenever we do these examples, we'll always be multiplying a linear, 1 degree times a 2 degree. We end up with 2 columns lined up. And we end up with an x cubed term off to the right and a constant term without a variable off on the left. All right, so now let's sum these up. First, bring down the 12x cubed. Add these two terms, add the coefficients. We have minus 4x squared. Add these, minus 3 and the minus 8, that's minus 5x. And bring down the plus 2. Let's look at number 7. Again, we'll do distributive law twice. Let's start with the 2x. (2x times 4x squared), we have 8x cubed. 2x times minus 2x minus 4x squared. And 2x times 5 plus 10x. And now we'll multiply through by negative 3 times. Minus 3 times 4x cubed, that's minus 3 times 4x squared, that's negative 12x squared. Line it up underneath the x squared term above. Minus 3 minus 2x, that's plus 6x. Okay, again, line it up. And minus 3 times 5, that's negative 15. All right, so here we have 8x cubed. Bring that down. Minus 4 and minus 12, that's negative 16x squared. 10 and 6, that's plus 16x, and then minus 15. Notice that I circled the entire minus 3. The subtraction symbol is included in that multiplication, so make sure to do that. Okay, make sure to, when we have a subtraction symbol in the middle, make sure that you multiply through the second time around by a negative. All right, and now we have a division. We're dividing by one term. In the denominator, we have only one term, so we're just going to divide term by term. So we won't always write it out like I am doing here, but just for the first example, just to be very clear, we're dividing 15x to the 4th by 3x squared, and then minus 21x cubed by 3x squared. And then we're dividing 3x squared by 3x squared. So the first division, we have 3 goes into 15 5 times. X to the 4th divided by x squared is x squared. 21 divided by 3 is 7. And x cubed divided by x squared is x. And then 3x squared divided by 3x squared is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. In number 9, we're going to divide term by term again. This time I won't split it up. We'll just look at it. 25 divided by minus 5 is negative 5. Then x to the 5th divided by x cubed, that is x squared. Remember, we're subtracting exponents when we divide. 30 divided by negative 5 is negative 6. Then x to the 4th divided by x cubed is x. And then we have minus 10x cubed divided by minus 5x squared. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, so that would be just plus 2. In number 10, we're dividing by a negative, so let's be careful with our signs. 21x to the fourth divided by minus 3x squared. We start off with a negative 7x squared. Here we're dividing two negatives, so that'll be positive. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and x cubed divided by x squared, that's x. And here we have a minus 3x squared divided by a minus 3x squared. Again, it'll be positive, and that'll be a plus 1. Same thing divided by itself is 1.